Alright guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the YouTube account and we are doing the final breakdown of the class specific tier list, guys. And today we are going to be looking at the support heroes. So overall, this is probably the most difficult tier list that I have kind of built year to date or really ever, just because there are so many support heroes into AFK Arena and a lot of them do play very pivotal specific roles within the game itself. Support is something that, of course, most teams always need. It is either the crowd control aspect or it is the support aspect. So let's go ahead, hop in the tier list, and we will break this down. All right, guys, so here we are with the final support tier maker breakdown. The support heroes, again, kind of looking at the utility of these heroes. There are a few, and I'm going to go through them, that do really work incredibly well. Starting in the top tier, guys, is Palmer. Ever since Palmer has made an appearance in AFK Arena, the damage amplification, the crit damage that he does is bar none, guys. He is run in a ton of different formations, run in a ton of Twisted Realm, Cursed Realm. We're seeing Nightmare Corridor, even Treasure Scramble, even run within the Temporal Rift, run in formations, run in campaign, run in towers. He is literally everywhere, which rings true. The same with the Awakened version of Solus, guys. Now, she is the only Awakened hero that we have at the Awakened support hero that we have in AFK Arena. A lot of players are hoping the next Awakened hero will be another support hero, but overall, her utility is just slightly behind the Awakened version of Belinda. But even without having her fully built out, the Awakened version of Solus will work incredibly well within formations, guys. And she does work very, very well in a ton of formations that we have currently seen her. Then we have Silas. Silas, of course, improves, has an attack rating buff, also has a considerable amount of healing, also provides an immunity with his ultimate ability, which when it starts coming to level deficiencies, when it comes to really amplifying the attack or the damage that heroes do, Silas is a very, very solid choice in that mode. Then we have the twins, guys. Even though a very old school hero within AFK Arena, there is still another hero that does not do what the twins does. With the ultimate ability and the haste that they provide, the linking of the front heroes, the twins are really standing alone in formations. And again, there are not very many areas of AFK Arena that we do not see the twins run, which is the reason why support is so important within this game, guys. And then we get into Merlin. Of course, he has the damage reduction, which is huge. He has a cheat death, which again is huge. Has the healing, has a lot of he is one of the absolute staple heroes when it comes to the dimensional teams. Running with Albedo, running with Ainz, running with Mulan, running with all different heroes, including Joan of Arc, guys. Again, works incredibly well within formations. Now, Joan of Arc specifically, she is the priority when it comes to the Labyrinth Sword, because she provides healing, she provides crowd control, she provides buffs, she provides pretty much everything that you're looking for a support hero within AFK Arena to do. In addition, she also has a damage immunity. So when she comes into the battle, when you have her built, she is immune to damage while she's running her standard over to the enemy side to plant that, allow the healing to start kicking in, as well as kind of the tanking ability that she has with the protective shields that she does produce. Then we have Halos, guys. Again, Halos kind of stands alone by himself. He is a buffer with that cube. He is also a shielder. He is an energy battery. He can actually feed energy to other teammates as well as himself when you have that plus 60 engraving. In addition, there's no cap on the energy that he can get, which means the shielding aspect in a bunch of different game modes. Halos is number one, guys. We even see him in the best in slot treasure scramble teams for the fire treasure scramble. Because of the way that he is built and the methodology behind it, he works incredibly well. Now, required in comps, these are heroes that really provide the support aspect to primary damage dealers or really support the team. First one we look at is Rain, guys. Rain is actually the first ascended hero that I have ever had within AFK Arena on the FHG account. Now, Rain ultimately, with the arrival of the Awakened version of Belinda, Rain is in every single comp that we see Belinda, not only for the damage amplification that Rain will put on there, but also for the energy regeneration that she will do through the shielding. So if you have Rain and you're building her up, guys, it is really a very, very important hero to have within AFK Arena. Then we have Neve. Neve is another one, guys. When you build them up, she will actually provide buffs to anyone who has summons. So when you look at the Awakened version of Solus, when you look at Grez, when you look at Mishka, when you look at Baden, she will provide buffs to the summoner of those units, so of those entities. She also has the ability to heal and also cleanse buffs, which again, we don't see with a lot of different heroes, but she is again required in a lot of different comps if you have her built out. Works incredibly well, especially in some of those game modes. Runs usually hand in hand with the awakened version of Solus. Again, the combination of those two, and she can actually keep Solus's little water sprites alive, which is very cool to see. Then we have the original version of Aziz. This is another one, guys, that has had a really, really big resurgence in a couple of comps. We're seeing him actually used in a bunch of different places, which is kind of interesting to see. The original Hypo hero from AFK Arena still having some utility. Ice Smear, of course, he cancels ultimate abilities. We're also seeing him in a bunch of treasure scramble formations. Again, it's interesting to see that a hero, a staple hero as much as him, we are still seeing a lot of utility. Now, in addition, he is also an energy battery, similar to what we see with Halos. He provides Feeble Mind, the crowd control, but he also provides energy over time. I believe it's like every 3 seconds he increases energy, which again, when you look at the energy cycle of some heroes, he is a big, big priority. And he will actually produce energy even if he dies in battle, which again is a really cool aspect. Now here we have the original version of Taylene. Again, this version of Taylene doesn't really shield as much, but is more healing. We have seen her run most recently with Orthos, but we've also seen her as a support hero doing a lot of damage in a bunch of comps. Again, a very solid support hero. Also, if she dies in battle, which she does, Sacrificial Lamb style, a lot of players will run her. If she dies, she comes back to life, which is huge. She was actually the first hero that actually had the resurrection ability within combat, which again was just kind of crazy to see. When she came out, guys, she was super, super broken in every single game mode. Then we get into our very solid supports. These are heroes that do help, again, kind of in the required comps. So a lot of times we see Rosaline running with the awakened version of Belinda, but as of lately, it doesn't seem like I'm seeing her run with that team comp as much with the ultimate abilities. Now, of course, Lightbearer Tower, 100% guaranteed. They're going to run hand in hand, but in a bunch of other modes, we are seeing the awakened version of Belinda, but we are not seeing Rosaline following her, which is kind of interesting. Still going to provide a lot of amplification for damage, depending on who you have built. Also, the ability to literally chain ultimate abilities are huge. So we see her as support run a lot of times with Mahira for the Charmazard comp. We see her utility and her kind of viability in a lot of different places in AFK Arena. Then we get into a star Little Peanut, which if you've seen the stature, she is a little tiny thing. Overall, the damage mitigation she provides is really strong. Also provides a significant amount of damage, significant amount of healing. A lot of players absolutely love running her. I'm even running her in my early game account. Works incredibly well, guys, with the damage mitigation that she puts up. And again, when you build her out, she will put out a lot of damage. Then we have Rowan, my absolute favorite hero in AFK Arena. Him and his duck right up here. He still provides, utility-wise, a lot of energy regeneration. Again, running with the awakened version of Belinda, with the energy potion, with some crowd control. Works incredibly well within a lot of different formations. And that can be the same for Namisu. Now, Namisu, the totems are really his downfall and yet his biggest thing within there. But he provides haste. So we have seen him run again in a bunch of different comps, providing haste to the strongest hero in a formation. We've actually seen Namisu run with Ainz. We've seen Namisu run with Scarlet. We've seen him actually run with a bunch of different teams. Plus, he is really probably the best support that we see in the Mauler Tower, short of possibly Salakai. If you're running multiple teams, when you get to 2 teams, when you get to 3 teams, the Maulers still do not have the support to really help the teams. So for a majority of players, it is the absolute lowest tower within AFK Arena, really depending on who you have built. But even then, they only have the awakened version of Brutus at this point, and they lack a lot of the support that we see coming out of this faction. Then we have Desira, guys. Desira is another hero, really solid support in a lot of different game modes, a lot of utility within the towers. Also seeing with her Mist that you can provide some damage mitigation in there, some healing, some immunity. Still, again, a lot of viability within there. And then, of course, we have Mortis. Mortis, very similar to the twins with the buffs. Now, overall, I put him in the very solid support category just for the simple fact that all you really need is one copy of him. Once you get a little bit further in AFK Arena, even if you get him up to Mythic to get that plus 20 signature item, doesn't require a huge build out, doesn't require a lot of investment or even a lot of utility to get him to work fundamentally. He will work in a bunch of different comps, even if he's not fully built, because he will buff with the greed ability. And then if he dies, it is what it is, guys. A lot of players, again, utilizing him as a hero to maximize damage in formations, but overall doesn't require a lot of investment, which I like. So I mean, you could probably even move him up possibly to the top tier just for the simple fact he is a hero that fundamentally works as well as you need him to within those formations. Now, looking at the towers, Namora used to be really utilized for that 9 of 9 Beguile ability. As of recently, I don't know anyone who uses her anywhere. We keep getting more heroes, guys. Short of the tower, you can still use it. It works incredibly well in there. Same with Tassie. Tower works well, even running with Pippa with the Slumber ability. Kind of a cheaper version of Mahira, but Tower is where we see Tassie. Same with Salakai. Salakai, of course, provides some buffs, but majority in the tower. When you look at Twisted Realm, Cursed Realm, Nightmare Corridor, even the Treasure Scramble, guys, Salakai is not really being used. I've seen and heard some players that were actually running him within the Temple Rift, but overall, again, he could be a pretty decent support in there, but his viability or really utility is not as high as some of the other support heroes, which is the reason, again, I mean, short of maybe one game mode, he's not running the campaigns. I don't see him outside of the Mauler Tower at all, which again is kind of tough. I had really, really high hopes, but of course they released Salakai, and then 2 weeks later, they released Palmer. So Palmer literally overshadowed Salakai from the release, meaning that there wasn't as much utility out of the hero. And then that is right, guys, the IM support class. We do have Peggy with the guards. I mean, you can put her in a tower formation. Most players don't run Peggy for anything. Same with Alero. Alero, unfortunately, every time that they come into combat, it is a 4-on-5 situation because he has to do his surveying or whatever it may be. Not a lot of utility there. Now, Fane, you could possibly put towers only, just for the simple fact that he does have utility within the towers. He provides some crowd control, but he does require a pretty decent build out to get the viability there. If you have Fane kind of at a basic level, not going to have a lot of utility with the hero, not going to have a lot of the crowd control aspects if you do not have him built out a little bit higher. But again, for tower formations, you could use him. It would be viable, but not super important to build him out at this point. Then, of course, we have Leo Frick. Guys, I almost forgot Leo Frick, and I know you guys would have just killed me for it. Leo Frick is a support hero. Again, the viability, the utility is not used in the towers, is not used in any game mode that I'm aware of. His kit overall is pretty unique with the ability to kind of control another target. He also has the totem, or not really the totems that he puts up. I think they call them pillars for him. I don't have him built. I know a lot of players that used him for a little bit in PvP, but ultimately he has gotten to the point where not really used anywhere within the game modes. So again, guys, that'll break it down for our support heroes. Could put Mortis a little bit higher just because he is required kind of in some comps. So again, that'll break it down for our support heroes. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.